This is Matthew Cratter from Trader University, and this morning I have some breaking news for you that's really quite big for Bitcoin. PayPal has announced that they will be allowing users to use Bitcoin. This just came out a few minutes ago. PayPal is going to allow users of the PayPal wallet to use cryptocurrencies for buying, for selling, for shopping, starting in early 2021. This is really great news, and it's framed as news for cryptocurrency, but if you look at the way the market's reacting, this is really news for Bitcoin. This isn't news for something like XRP. Bitcoin's up 3.5%. Ethereum is up marginally. But what this means is that there's going to be a huge new rush of users of Bitcoin. We've been talking about this for a while. We've been talking about how corporations have been buying it and putting it on their balance sheet, like Square and MicroStrategy. But what's happening now is it's really moving into the consumer space. We can see Bitcoin trading at above 12,300 on this news. Just an incredible looking bullish chart, as we've been talking about in the last couple of days, that Bitcoin is in the process of breaking out. Now, why this is such big news, let's start actually with Coinbase, which is a cryptocurrency exchange where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Coinbase currently has approximately 35 million users. Something like the Cash App, which people use also to buy a lot of Bitcoin, has 30 million users. So what is that? That's 65 million users total. What's happening now with PayPal entering the scene, PayPal currently has 286 million active users. So almost 10 times the number of users that a company like Coinbase has. And so what we're seeing here is cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, entering the mainstream. Along with PayPal, obviously PayPal owns Venmo. Venmo itself is larger in terms of its active users than any company like Coinbase or Square app. Venmo with 40 million users. So this is really big news. And I think, if anything, the move in Bitcoin is more muted than it should be, because what we're seeing here is really mainstream adoption. And when you see just sort of regular people starting to use Bitcoin in their PayPal wallet, what it does is it opens up this whole world to them. And Bitcoin no longer is just this weird area for macro guys or Silicon Valley guys, etc. In addition to that, I think there was a really interesting interview that Michael Saylor, who's the CEO of MicroStrategy, did with Keith McCullough. And I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but what really jumped out at me is when people talk about the volume on an exchange, or the trading volume of Bitcoin. For example, we can see here on CoinMarketCap, the volume is currently listed at about $36.5 billion dollars worth of Bitcoin trading over the last 24 hours. Now, Bitcoin has a market cap of 225 billion as of this morning. So this is a really large amount of Bitcoin to be trading. And I've always wondered why these numbers are so large. And so I think that Michael Saylor had an interesting data point. He says that this data is just incorrect. So he's citing the data on the Apple Stocks application, 24.76, CoinGecko reporting 20 billion trading volume for Bitcoin. And we're seeing something similar when we look at CoinMarketCap. But what he talks about is that these are, he believes this data is incorrect and that it's inflated. Here's the real quote here. I know for a fact, this is Michael Saylor speaking in the interview, I know for a fact that you can't buy more than $35 million a day without people knowing. So in his words, there's no freaking way there's 24 billion trading. Lots of times cryptocurrency volume can be used sort of for promotional reasons, especially lesser altcoins tend to pretend or have an incentive to pretend that they're trading more volume than they really are. But what this suggests is that Bitcoin, as we've been suggesting on this channel, is much less, the float is much smaller than people think. And so if serious buying comes in from all these PayPal people, what we're looking at is a complete a complete melt up, especially when you take into account the fact that once we get past this resistance, there's been a lot of resistance. If we scroll out here at sort of the 13,000, 14,000 level, we're first going to test the 12.5 level. Hopefully we can get over that today. But really, it's completely open blue skies once we trade above 13 or 14,000. The all-time highs of Bitcoin were approximately 20,000, but it never spent any time up there. It never closed up there really on a daily basis. And so what we're looking at here is an enormous breakout. And it's not just a breakout that's driven by the moving averages here and the hitting new monthly highs, etc. It's really driven by fundamental adoption. And I'm all in favor of technical analysis and looking at the Elliott waves and the Fibonacci levels, etc. But you also have to keep an eye on the real world and look at what's happening with adoption. A lot of people have critiqued Plan B's supply side model of Bitcoin, which is projecting Bitcoin hits approximately 100,000, anywhere from 100,000 to 200,000 by the end of next year, saying where's all this demand going to come from? Well, I hope those people are paying attention this morning, because we now know where it is coming from. It's going to be coming from PayPal very, very soon. So I think this is hugely bullish for Bitcoin, and just wanted to share this news with you this morning. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. And thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next video.